week's headlines and everything else in between. This week, I've got my video game review of Nickelodeon's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the video game for Xbox 360. Also, Tara's back with News Flash and the Tara Show. Woohoo! Yeah, she's our lovely little hostess. Also, AngryJoe's scored an interview with the design creator behind Infinite Crisis, and much more. Also, our new Cosplayer of the Week, and a special surprise at the close of the show. So, let's get started, shall we? With our video game review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's go! Okay, everybody, and now it is time for our video game review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Nickelodeon's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for Xbox 360. Now, this is going to be an interesting little trinket because, for one, it was way too easy to beat. Seriously. In most cases, a game that's way too easy to beat ain't worth playing. But in this case, it was lots of fun to play. I mean, rated E for everyone means it. I mean, no increased violence, no blood and gore, so on and so forth, that would make your stomach squirm and crap like that. We're talking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles here. Okay. The game, incredibly easy to beat. The game also tries to follow by the fact of the old school Super Nintendo version of Turtles in Time. Holy crap! That, even right up to the point of when you could throw your enemy literally at the screen. Seriously. Do you know how many times I threw these crane bots and the freaking foot soldiers at the screen? It was funny as hell. Just the way they, like they actually hit your TV screen. What? Either way, the game is a solid, good thing, but too easy to beat. I beat it within 6 hours, and that was almost the equivalent of my night. I mean, seriously, I beat it within that many hours. What the hell? Seriously, unbelievable. It was that fun. It was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. This game was lots of fun to play, but at the same time, too easy. No, there's no difficulty level to it. It was too easy to beat and too easy to get through. I mean, even the enemies, once you knew their strategy and everything, it was just like zip right through it. Anyways, I hate to do this to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but way too easy to beat, but lots of fun to play. Going with an 8 out of 10. It was the best. It was a damn good game, but at the same time, too easy. Too easy. You could get through it within minutes. Well, hours anyway, not minutes. I meant level-wise, chapter-wise, you could probably get through it within 20 minutes, each time and stuff. But at the same time, still way too easy. I meant, you want a game that gives you a challenge and stuff like that, go for something like Assassin's Creed or some other game. But at the same time, this is just way too easy, and it's meant more for kids than anything. That's why it's rated E for everyone. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the video game, gets an 8 out of 10. Okay, now let's move on to News Flash with our lovely hostess, Miss TARABABCOCK. Coming up next. Okay, it's time now for News Flash with our lovely hostess, the lovely, gorgeous, and voluptuous Miss TARABABCOCK. I don't know, does she like being called Miss TARABABCOCK or just Tara? All the above, I guess. Either way, she's our lovely little hostess, and it's time now for News Flash. Take it away, Tara.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Monday News Flash. I'll be once again leaving you in the trusted hands of the lovely voiceover lady as I have a Magic the Gathering Pro Tour qualifier to go to. Anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Bye guys.
Let's go to a place where everything is made of blocks.
Marcus Pearson is talking about a potential Minecraft movie. That's what the Swede announced last week on Twitter. A Minecraft movie would make sense, just as a movie about Lego makes sense. And as Minecraft has been sold 100 million times across many platforms, Steve could soon be hitting the big screen. But which actor should play Steve? My vote goes to The Rock, and the romantic counterpart would be Emma Stone. The Dutch developers of Romano Games are making a sequel to their first hit Swords and Soldiers. Strangely, the game has been announced as a Wii U exclusive. They will show the two-dimensional multiplayer online battle arena for the first time at PAX East in April. Tomorrow, on Tuesday, the next chapter for The Walking Dead will be released. In this second episode of Season 2, the story of Clementine will continue. As we didn't mention it in the shopping guide published yesterday, we tell it to you now.
There are only 2.
Let's take them.
After almost 2 decades, it's time to hit the streets and make blood splatter on the pavement. From March 27th, Carmageddon Reincarnation will be available on Steam as an early access game. The game was crowdfunded on Kickstarter.com and received additional money late last year. Danish game publisher and developer Interceptor Entertainment bought Apogee and 3D Realms. 3D Realms and Apogee still hold the right to some old-school games like Commander Keen and the old Duke Nukem games. Interceptor is working on an HD remake of Duke Nukem 3D and on an action role-playing game Duke Nukem Mass Destruction.
Hail to the king, baby!
Don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back.
One of the games that might be coming to Steam is fan-favorite strategy game Age of Mythology. A stream from the developers revealed the game logo while a hyperactive sheep was talking. You have to see the video to believe it, but apparently Age of Mythology Extended Edition is coming to Steam, though there's no official announcement yet.
F1, 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 F1! Woo! Kick that! Whoa!
Riot Games will introduce a matchmaking system in League of Legends that allows you to choose your role before entering a match. Riot Games has named this feature the Team Builder. A test version for the new matchmaking system will be rolled out this week across servers. And amidst the regular news, I will update you guys as often as possible about the E3 Expo. What games will be shown? Let us have a look at the first rumors. 343 Industries and Microsoft have a great plan to share, which kinda implies we can expect something about the new Halo game for Xbox One. Sony cancelled the production of a new sci-fi game. The game was in development at Sony Santa Monica Studios, the studio responsible for the God of War series. This sci-fi game was supposed to be shown at E3. Maybe Capcom will show a reboot for the Dino Crisis series. According to the official Xbox magazine, the game might soon be revealed by Capcom. It wouldn't be the first time Capcom revives old games, as it released Strider just a few weeks ago. And that's a wrap. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook, and if you aren't subscribed yet, hit the lovely button below the video. Hope to see you on Thursday when Tara will be back with a new update on all the essential news.
There you have it, people. Newsflash. But did anyone else catch that Tara's attire almost went and looked like it was about to go right off her body? The upper part, anyway. Okay, we will not go there and discuss upon that subject any further. Alright. Anyways, thanks, Tara. We'll see you later for the Tara show. Anyways, Angry Joe's up next, ladies and gentlemen, and he scored an infinite. He scored an interview with the Infinite Crisis design creator, B, and we're gonna have that next. Okay, people, we're back with Angry Joe's interview with with the design creator of Infinite Crisis. Oh, unbelievable! My mind is just going cuckoo today. I was supposed to go see 300 Rise of an Empire this weekend and everything coming up, but life just knows how to deal with the bad hand these days. Okay, anyways, here now is our awesome as hell Angry Joe with his interview with Infinite Crisis design creator. Take it away.
Hey guys, Angry Joe here, and I'm with Cardell of Infinite Crisis. We meet again.
We do.
So I gotta ask. Last time we spoke, I was super excited. I was like, "Let me see Superman. When is Superman coming? When's Superman coming out?"
Superman's one of the hardest characters to ever figure out powers for. I mean, the guy barely does anything.
Superman is finally out, you guys. I got some footage of him.
Kal-El is a powerful bruiser who excels at initiating and finishing team fights.
I've got some footage of Mecha Superman, which is brand new Superman.
When the young Clark Kent connected a crashed Kryptonian space probe to his family's agrobot, an amazing new robot was born. Clark named the robot Kal and tried to teach him what it meant to be human.
So obviously super excited. Tell us a little bit of how Infinite Crisis has evolved since we last talked. It's a ton.
Yeah.
It's a ton of stuff.
Wow, so let's see. I'm trying. The first time we talked, last time we were talking about Coast City. It was like, we're gonna work on Coast City. You've never heard of this map. It's never happened before. Like, great. We built Coast City. And we've done a lot with Coast City. Doomsday Device, craziness. Like you see Ferris Air blowing up. You see Statues of Green Lantern blowing up. Yeah, that was nuts.
And now there's a new one, Gotham Divided.
So now we're going to talk about Gotham Divided. Yeah. And Gotham Divided came out, I want to say the end of January, and I've been seeing all sorts of people do crazy stuff with that map, and it's been awesome just to kind of watch how people's games have evolved. And obviously, since then, we have, I want to say, something like 10, 12, 15 more characters, somewhere around there.
Oh, yes. It's been quite a few months, and Gotham Divided is the 3-lane map.
Yes.
But I want to know, why Gotham again? We already had Gotham Heights. Where's Metropolis? Where's all the different locations? What made you guys go with Gotham and Gotham Divided?
All right, well, one of the reasons why we decided to go with Gotham and Gotham Divided is because when you look at the actual, where we had to work with, and also some of the areas, I'm not going to say the most popular area because it's not really true. I mean, I agree with Metropolis, City Tomorrow, I can go wrong with that one.
Okay, I will admit, Gotham is dang popular.
Gotham's dang popular. And then on top of that, it's like, we wanted that map to tell the story of these two different alternate worlds smashing into each other. Okay. When we actually want to sit down and like, when you look at Coast City, there is no alternate world smashing. It's just like, this is focused on Coast City. When we do other locations, we're going to want to do something similar to that. Like, where it's like, you're in Metropolis, this is where we are. Like, there's no doubt. Like, you see that Daily Planet sign up there? Yeah. Like, this is it. Like, this is where the big dog lives. Yeah. Like, and I think that when I looked at that from the world of, I wanted this intrusion, like, to be obvious in the map, where it's like, on the left side, you have a steam-powered gaslight area, to the point where you're gonna hear different sounds. There's gonna be different music that plays when you're on that side of the map than when you're looking in the other side of the map. We wanted it just the map needs to have its own narrative, and it's not like it is for other games where I'm just gonna build a narrative experience that you then have to go down. It's like each time you play, it's a different experience entirely. Yeah. Like if you're gonna play Green Arrow, if you're gonna play Cyborg, if you're gonna play Mecha Wonder Woman, they're going to play differently, and you're going to have a different experience for each one of them.
Now, I have to give your team props. So, obviously, you know, people are going to have a lot to say when you create one of the most popular superheroes, Superman. I had a lot to say when he first came out. But I think overall, y'all did a really great job creating him. I mean, the only thing I think is hilarious is that he sort of flies like Meteor Man. Have you ever seen that? He flies sort of close to the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, but so why did y'all choose to have Superman sort of grounded and walking instead of hovering and flying?
Well, there are a few different reasons. I think one of them, the biggest one right up front, was it's easier to make his power obvious when his feet are planted. The dude's like floating. It just doesn't look right. And we tried quite a few times.
You mean like the impact behind the punches?
Just impact behind a punch. Like, you know, like
it looks better.
If you're grounded, it looks like your blows hurt a lot more than they are if you're just kind of floating around. And I think on top of that, there's the other side of like we wanted Superman to be more grounded. We wanted him to look like he's gonna like, look, I'm like one of these people. That way, when he uses powers that pulled him off the ground, it's that much more awe-inspiring and frightening. It's like when you see him standing there, next thing you know, he kicks off his ultimate, and you hear "not this time," and you see him start to float in the air. You're like, oh, this isn't gonna go well for me at all. And everyone has that one moment where they're like, is that line coming to me? Oh crap, that line's coming to me. And like they're trying to move, and next thing you know, he smashed at the wall. Like that was exactly what we were looking for. And it's a jarring change, and it's a very obvious one.
Yeah.
And that was it.
The ultimate is quite well done. And even if you don't like that particular Superman, I think the strength of Infinite Crisis is one thing that makes it unique from other MOBAs is the fact that there's 5 other Superman, you know? Like, well, exactly, I read on the forums there's actually 6 universes. I thought it was 5, but there's actually 6.
Well, you're thinking, when you say 5, you're glossing over Prime, that's all.
Oh,
so,
Prime,
yeah,
right.
Like,
So there's 6 total with
total.
Prime included.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you don't like that particular Superman, there's always different types of Supermans. You got a Bruiser, Enforcer, maybe an Assassin, Marksman, some different things in the future. Tell us a little bit about the brand new champions that you guys just showed off.
All right, so
We'll start with Green Arrow because
say?
I've been watching the show recently and I love that show, so I'm into Green Arrow.
Marooned on a desert island, Queen honed his bow skills to survive, pledging his life to making things right and donning the mantle of Green Arrow.
Again, I just want to say, they didn't see your game yet, but the fact that you did not fail the city is super important for me.
I did not fail the
city. Like that is super important.
Yeah.
As you can see, Green Arrow fans here. So, Green Arrow is the 4th marksman, and his particular strength is he's very, very mobile, and he's one of those characters who's all about kind of courting and pre-planning your fight. So every single time you use an ability, you normally get an immediate effect from when you invoke the ability. So in some cases he will tumble, in other cases he preloads his arrow, so his first shot next time does more effects. And when you're playing him, it's about kind of juggling that and knowing like, all right, well now's the time when I should go in, or now's when my secondary effect is going to kick off. Those are the types of things that you need to keep in mind when you're playing him. And I feel like overall, he's possibly one of the, if not the best marksman we've played so far.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah. So
and I play Cyborg a lot, and I love Cyborg. But Green Arrow, if you play Cyborg, you're gonna love Green Arrow.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. We've been playing him a lot internally for a very long time, which is why it's so good to see people actually play him at first.
Yeah.
And they're running around. They start figuring out what he can do and how his long distance ultimate ability allows him, like that you would take earlier, as you already saw. It is not gated behind 6th level. You pick it up earlier. It will also transfer the effects of whatever stance he's in.
Yeah.
So you can start to see where
it makes total sense that he's got lots of different stances that have
Yes.
lots of different gadgets and different effects. It's great. And speaking of turning people's perceptions around, Aquaman.
The Lord of Atlantis is a melee bruiser who excels at solo skirmishes and poking during team fights.
If I didn't have Aquaman on my team in that match, we would have lost. The guy's a beast.
He's a monster.
Describe a little bit about Aquaman.
So Aquaman, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Our goal with Aquaman was to make it so that when people would actually be playing the game and decide, oh man, we died. Like he's got like 3 or 4 kills. Game's over, man. Aquaman, we're done. I wanted people to actually be able to say that because we want to make Aquaman. I feel like he's actually the highest skill cap character we've ever made.
Yeah,
like, he's really. I'm like, people can play him and they can do okay with him, but if you were really good with Aquaman, you could do horrible things to people, and he makes people look stupid. Like
it takes practice, though.
Oh yes. Well, the fact that he has effectively those 3 different types of ultimate abilities based off of when he uses them makes him so effective. I mean, obviously, it's like you see the China come out of nowhere, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, here he comes, and Aquaman like rockets over the wall and like spears you in the face, and you're like, oh, that sucks. You try to get away from him.
I was thinking, but when you see Aquaman around, some people are going to say, oh, he's a fish out of water. I had some ideas. I was like, because the DC universe is so vast and there's just so many different locations and locales and champions, and the possibilities are infinite. Do you think in the future you guys might release different map skins? This would be something that no other MOBA has done before, and we might see a skin that's more appropriate for Aquaman or maybe Metropolis in the Gotham Heights type city.
We've definitely talked about doing that as a concept, and I actually think we may, if we're going to go on that road, we might even consider doing something along the lines of like just taking the game itself and almost you keep all the same gameplay effect that you have within a Gotham Divided or a Gotham Heights or Coast City, and just change it so it's like, and now you're in Atlantis, and that's the difference.
Yeah,
you know, it's
that's awesome.
Like
yeah.
there you are.
And I would totally support that because it would be all new things to pick up and throw at people, which is another unique thing about. And I keep harping on unique things about the MOBA because when I play this, or I'm on YouTube, or I'm on Twitch, the first thing you see is it gets compared to every single other MOBA, which, you know, I guess because the genre is younger, that's going to happen a lot more. But I do really want to see some more unique things with Infinite Crisis. Have you guys considered any additional modes that maybe have we not seen before, like something like asynchronous multiplayer where you've got like 5-on-2 and it's a battle for, you know, civilian NPCs, just something crazy that we've never seen before. I know it's hard to balance and all that, but have you guys considered any additional modes besides the ones that we've seen?
Yes, I mean,
are they coming?
Well, I will say that you'll be the first to hear about it when we actually do start releasing them. There's that to say. But I would say that just in terms of like the design philosophy that we have is, in order to get better at something, you have to take risks. It's in many ways, it's no different than any other thing you do in your life, where it's like, in order to get better at MOBAs, you have to take risks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So one of those is you have to be willing to experiment. You have to be able to try different places. And internally, we are going to continue to try different versions of maps because you learn as much from the successes as you do from the failures. Like every single time you try something new, you just get better at what you were doing before. So as a result, you can definitely expect you'll be seeing more different types of gameplay experiences from those. I don't think that we're going to have them all featured front and center because you need to have a critical mass of people to be able to get into a match as it is. Yeah. So every single time you introduce another map to that mix,
you're splitting the player base a little bit. Yeah, I see how that is, but at the same time, I think some of these different types of modes may be necessary.
Yes.
Because right now, just for new players, like if you could tie it into a single player mode or bot modes where it's more like, because the DC universe is so rich, you could tie it into, you know, like, oh, here's the villains you have to stop, and training players on how to play, essentially. So that would be a great idea for a tutorial. Are you guys going to implement a tutorial to help ease new players into the MOBA?
Yes. So one of the things already for open beta, we already plan on trying to do something that's really just a basic, almost like a free play, so that people can learn, like, okay, this is how this map is actually laid out. This is what it is to move around. This is what it is to potentially capture a point. This is what it is to fight another person to take a turret. Like, this is what it actually means. So that's right up front, and then eventually we plan on actually going on with a full-bore tutorial experience of like, you're going to take this character and you're going to play through this area. We're going to teach you all these specific things about both this character's abilities and about what you should be doing in these types of situations.
Yes, and the two biggest hurdles of MOBAs that hurt the experience is when players show up that don't know what they're doing, so a tutorial would help against that, and AFK. So, and especially, at least in the closed beta, that's been a little rough on players, especially in the forums. What systems have you guys looked at to improve, these AFKers not showing up? I mean, one thing right away that you guys need to do, and it frustrates the heck out of me, if nobody selects a champion, they get auto-locked with the champion and they go into the match anyway. You guys should quit that match before it actually joins because the guy wasn't there to pick his champion. He's not going to be there to play the game. But what different kind of systems are you guys considering for AFKers, which is a huge factor in MOBAs?
So one thing up front is that for ranks, what you described is exactly how that works. Okay. We typically didn't do that for generally more of a free play because we thought more people would be more willing to get it.
It needs to go to free play.
Yeah, but that's certainly true. We want to make sure that we can get into a match. But I would say that on top of that one, right up front, clearly, we need a surrender. We need a surrender option. Because I feel that one of the most telling things that you see is often when people will play, and then when they feel like, oh, we can't win, they will just stop.
Right.
And they will just stop playing in, whatever. And that's
a report option or something like that.
And you can report people, at the end of the match during when you're in the scorecard.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, we've actually had a lot of success on that one. But I don't feel that reporting people gives them any more hope when they're in the middle of a match, right? Like if they feel like they can't win, they're more likely to just stop playing because they want to play another match, which is flattering because like I want them to play another match, but at the same time it can totally drag an experience down, and like that's more of that cycle of like, well, how do we want to actually handle that? And we've been talking about other things in terms of like, I mean, obviously with reporting and with surrender, we think that'll get better, but we've been trying to find other ways in which we can kind of incentivize you to play and try.
Do you have some ideas along? Is something coming to help out Infinite Crisis in this area?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, well, just those two alone will help us significantly, but then on top of that one, like, there's the concept, like, the merit, just our merit system and being able to pull that out in terms of that one as well. Like, that way it's like you really just losing by stopping playing. Like, you're better off just playing all the way through. And, like, that's ultimately what we want to get to, where a world where, you know, you're not getting rewarded for bad play, and that's really what we ultimately want.
And so the big news is that Infinite Crisis is going open on what date? March 14th. So that'll help out the player base. A lot more players will come in. Hopefully, do you know if you'll have your tutorial in by then? So to help out those new players?
For March 14th, what you're going to see is we're going to have our free play experience, where it's like, again, you will jump into that queue with a bunch of other people, it'll be match made, so it'll be 5 of you versus no one else, and you'll be in our Coast City experience, so that you can kind of fool around and kind of learn.
But you're not against AI bots?
Not yet, no.
Interesting. Okay, so not enough time to develop the AI in there?
I would say that it's a combination of that, in addition to the fact that it's even less pressure. Like we wanted the lowest possible amount of pressure you can possibly get. I mean, even AI bot could probably murder you if you're careful. I mean, AI Green Lantern probably will kill you.
Well, that's good. At least it gives you more time to focus on that tutorial and maybe throw in some stories. Because another big announcement, at least here at the event, is that DC is getting behind this. WB is getting behind this in a big way and actually developing story for it in a comic book series. Are we going to see eventually some of that, in the game? Are we going to see some storylines, maybe some quest challenges that you can go on that may line up with the story?
My goal is to interleave them as much as possible. I mean, I always want to make sure that the comic guys have the ability to tell the most entertaining, greatest comic story they can tell. But at the same time, all of it's using the same source material. Like when we build a world, we build the Arcane Earth, it has its own story behind it. And there's merits and flaws to that entire story. Like Arcane Green Lantern and his Templar Order, they are built off of very basically a set of things that happened in that Arcane Earth, and I'm hoping that those things will start to come to line, and you'll see some portion of them in the comic line, but as we start trying to find other ways to convey our story, you'll start seeing you'll start seeing us talk about other aspects of that.
So there's just a ridiculous amount of potential because you have the DC license. There's thousands of heroes and stuff, and we've saw a taste of some of the ones to come, some 3 new ones, which will all be out on the open beta at March 14th, but I gotta do this for the forums. I need you, Cardale, to list your top 3 champions, or heroes rather, that you would want to be in the game that aren't in the game. These are just your personal picks, don't have to actually be on the docket.
Oh, no, that's really fair. My top 1 is, I've gone around saying this many times.
Deathstroke. Did I get some Deathstroke? I'll give you mine separately. This is yours.
Why don't you give me yours first? That way
Okay, I'll give you mine first. Mine is Deathstroke, Black Adam, and we'll throw in something unique. I'll put in, what are we gonna do? Gosh, I gotta make it good. We need more badass villains. I would say, like maybe like a Dark Side or something.
Okay.
What about you?
That's good. That's very compelling. All right. Number 1 for me, still John Stewart Green Lantern. I want him in the game. He's my favorite character.
Oh, that's right,
yeah,
John
Stewart Green Lantern. That's
yeah,
the
I
number
remember.
Number 2, I'm gonna go with a little crazy. I'm gonna go with something you're like, hey, I don't see this very often. Crypto. I want to see Crypto.
That would be awesome. I love Crypto, man. You know what? I changed my pick from Darkseid to a Superboy. You gotta do a Superboy. Okay, that'd be an Angry Joe skin technically, just without the jagged. Do Superboy, and I'm talking old Superboy. Okay, what about your rest?
All right, so I'm gonna go for number 3. I mean, you're right. We do need more badass villains. I think that I would probably have to pick. I want to do something like really nutty, like maybe like. Either like
some fun or something.
Yeah, but something that's kind of like, you like Deathstroke? I like someone like Mecha Deathstroke. Like imagine like this crazy like robot that's mostly like blades and like almost like a weird cross of like some crazy Transformer and Deathstroke is like literally just almost all weapons, like something like that. Like I would like to do.
And that's another thing, forums that nobody really considers when they think of the champions they want in the game. They're always talking Prime.
Yes.
There's 5 other universes that you can choose from. Oh man, I'm so excited about the potential of this game. I'm really looking forward to checking out the new open build on March 14th.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us again, Cardell.
No problem, man. It's always fun.
We've got to get a match in here.
Okay.
I've got to play you.
Okay.
I want to see how good you are.
Okay, are we playing? Maybe
Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Oh no,
let's go.
No,
right now, let's go.
They're cleaned up, but you know what? We'll schedule it.
Let's do it.
On stream, we will schedule our match.
Okay, are you serious?
I'm dead serious. We'll
oh
make it
man,
happen.
this is gonna be awesome. Okay, thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all on the next Angry Joe show. Hey, Black Adam, put him in. Put him in. Put him in. Put in Black Adam. Put in Zod so that people can be at their computers. Kneel. His ultimate should force somebody to kneel. You gotta do a kneel animation for every single hero. Kneel, Cardell, kneel.
There you have it, people. What an interview. And I mean, did you see the look on Angry Joe's face when he seen what Superman's gonna look like and everything, and he was just like, oh! You know, that guy is Superman crazy. That's why he had the biggest tis fit in the world when he heard about the whole Batman vs. Superman movie for the Man of Steel sequel. I still am just like, what? Okay. Anyways, before we get on with the Tara show, next, I wanted to say a big congrats to the director, the producer, and the creators of 12 Years a Slave. It was a damn good film. I have to say it was a damn good film. And showing the life of a man who was in slavery for 12 years. 12 Years a Slave is about that. And that movie at the Oscars this Sunday won Best Picture of the Year. And big congrats to everyone involved. I loved it. Also, Ellen DeGeneres broke the Twitter record. Holy crap, are you kidding me? She broke the Twitter record for the most tweets sent in one night. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. I wonder if it had anything to do with how everyone said she was a terrible host and everything. But other people were saying she did a damn fine job and stuff. I wonder if it had anything to do with the fact she ordered pizza for the entire audience. Holy crap! I missed out on all this? Not to mention, did you see the delivery guy when he got up on stage? He was just like, holy shit, man, I'm here! I'm here! At the Oscars! Delivering pizza! The Ninja Turtles would have been going, what the hell's he doing delivering there? We want the pizza! I could have seen it. Trust me, I really, really could have seen it. Now, in the case of Michael Bay's upcoming Ninja Turtles, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one bit. Anyways, let's get on now with the Tara show. Coming up next. Okay, people, it's time now for the Tara show. Now, last week her subject was about digital content being more expensive than the actual physical copies and stuff like that. Which would you prefer? Well, her subject continues this week on the same thing. Only voicing her opinion now a little more about how older games, which do you prefer more, the older games or newer games? Because me, I'm a mix of both. I kind of like still playing Super Mario World, but at the same time, I kind of like more playing everything on Xbox 360. Same thing with PlayStation 2 compared to Xbox 360. I don't have a PS3 or a PS4, people. Sue me, okay? Ugh. Anyways, here now is Tara to tell you all about her opinion on everything, and also to read you a couple of comments from last week's little endeavor from the Tara Show. Take it away, beautiful.
Last week I was talking about the pricing of video games. I think that games are way too expensive, especially when it comes to the downloadable copy of games that are sold in retail. Of course there are some exceptions, but we need to keep pushing to make sure that games remain affordable. I've been reading your comments. TwiggyMaster666 said, Gears of War 3 on download is £29.99. I can buy it secondhand for less than £5. Physical copy for the win. This is one of my problems with digital sales exactly. In stores they need to lower prices to make space for new games. Online they have no such problem. Thank God there's things like Steal sales and Summer of Arcade. Mike Fox said, I used to buy all games as hard copies so I could get trade-in value for them. But with such great games as Hotline Miami and Guacamelee, I'm finding I'm moving more and more toward digital content. At least this way I have the game forever. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, Mike, but the problem with digital services is that they are digital services. When the service leaves, so does the game. You're not going to have it forever. But the way I've understood it, if that day ever does come, Valve will make all the games saved in your DRM free. And for this week's subject, I'm not walking away from last week's subject.
Bond, James Bond, is blasting his way onto Nintendo 64 in the game version of the hit feature film, GoldenEye.
If you look at older games, you can get 2, maybe even 3 games for the price that you pay for the newer games. And sometimes we get greedy and we want the new, we want the best, but it's much more profitable to wait. And of course there's a really good reason for this. Just compare the Xbox 360 launch title of Call of Duty 2 to Call of Duty Black Ops 2. There are major graphical upgrades and gameplay changes that just make Call of Duty 2 inferior. And of course we can't say this about every game in every franchise, but in general, us gamers believe that newer is better. Just compare our hobbies with movies. While it's cool to watch Terminator 2 Judgment Day or watch Saving Private Ryan, it's often painful to play our PlayStation 2 games. Oh, those graphics hurt. At the same time, I have no problem replaying Final Fantasy VII on my PS1. Until I saw the anime movies, I had no idea what any of that stuff was actually supposed to look like. Sephiroth is actually a badass, not just like 10 pixels. Every time a new transition to consoles takes place or new hardware is introduced, it gets even worse. In general, gamers don't look back. Personally, I love going back and playing older games, and I do so often. But when I look back on the graphics of things like Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, it's like, ugh, and that wasn't even that long ago. It kind of makes me a bit sad that I used to think 007 GoldenEye on the N64 was really good graphics, and now when I look back at it, I'm like, what's going on? Is that a bathroom stall? Or is that just like a tectonic plate sheet metal thing? What? I just can't let go of my older games. I have a retro Let's Play series that I do all the time where I'm playing Mario's, old Crash Bandicoots, and everything under the sun. I have emulators on my computer, and I have all of my old consoles hooked up. But it does hurt looking at those graphics. Let me know in the comments what you guys do with your old games. Do you sell them? Do you keep them? Do you replay them? Do you never look back because you've now seen Titanfall and think that the graphics are amazing? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you post your comments so you can be seen in next week's show. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and my personal channel down in the description. Bye, guys!
Okay, people, that's it. Tara, we'll see Tara next week for more of Tara Talks. Tara Talks. Tara's thing called the Tara Show. And seriously, Magic the Gathering tournament she had to go to, so she left everything up to a voice, a bodiless voice. I don't know if it's bodiless or not. All I know is it's a sexy little voice, if you ask me. Anyways, now our little piece of the show we like to call the Cosplayer of the Week segment. Up next. Okay, people, as you all know by now, towards the end of our show every week, we always have a Cosplayer of the Week. Now, there's been some times we haven't had a Cosplayer of the Week segment going on because everyone was too lazy or too tired or not in the mood to do it. Yeah, I'm looking at all of you. I'm looking at all of you. Now, in the case of our lovely Cosplayer of the Week this week, she's Argentinian. Yeah, that's right. She's from Argentina. The women from there are sexy mi amor. Yeah. I think I just called one a sexy spicy meatball or something. My language skills are screwed. Anyways. she's a lovely young lady who cosplayed everything from Black Canary to Sydney Savage from Danger Girl and Lisa Hayes from the Robotech series. Ironic. The ending theme to our show, ending credits, is the Robotech theme. Can you believe it? Anyways, this lovely little lady is also a model and a cosplayer. She is a big pet lover and so on and so forth. And she does pretty damn good at what she does. She's also a gamer, but she doesn't do that much on talking about the video games and stuff, more than the cosplaying and the modeling stuff. Anyways, here we go now. Our cosplayer of the week, the lovely Miss Kitty Honey Cosplay. Enjoy! Cosplay. I know, that sounded a lot like something that you would get incredibly tongue-tied if you said it 3 times or more. Kitty Honey Cosplay, Kitty Honey Cosplay. See what I mean? I can't even do it. But be sure, if you're on Facebook, to look her up. Tell her congratulations on being inducted into the TAJS Hall of Fame of Cosplayers Hall of Fame. I'm still working on that. I haven't had a new title for that blasted thing in over a year now. But that was last year, over a year now. When this show got started, for God's sake. Anyways, that's it for our show this week. Also, I said I had a special treat in store from WB, and it's gonna be something that you might like, but at the same time, be very pissed off about it, like I am. For one, the Batman Arkham games have all been between Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Now we've got the whole PS4 and Xbox One out there, and they decide to just screw over everyone else and give it just for that. That's right. I went there. I'm pissed off about it, and I went there. Anyways, I'm thankful to them for getting the trailer to us so we can premiere it for you on the show this week. And all I got to say is it's mind-blowing. Incredibly mind-blowing. So, let's say our goodbyes, and then you guys can enjoy the trailer. The video game trailer we're premiering this week. Basically, special congrats to our cosplayer of the week, Kitty Honey Cosplay, to the rest of the crew, and Tara and Angry Joe, the guys at Zoomin.TV Games, our awesome Avasi, and so on and so forth. I just like to say, peace out. May the force be with you. And may the power protect you. See ya.
Gotham, this is your only warning. Abandon the city, or I will unleash your greatest fears.
The last will and testament of the deceased, Thomas Wayne. In the event of my death, I hereby declare that all my worldly possessions pass to my son, Bruce Wayne. Bruce, I ask that you honor the Wayne family legacy and commit yourself to the improvement of Gotham City, its institutions, and its citizens. Please, be strong. You are young, but destined for great things. Make the most of your opportunities. Use them to give back to a city that has given us so much, to change the lives of millions of people. Do not be frivolous with this wealth. Please do not waste it all on fast cars and outrageous clothes and the pursuit of a destructive lifestyle. Invest in Gotham. Treat its people like family. Watch over them and use this money to safeguard them from forces beyond their control. My deepest regret is I will not see you grow into the good man I know you will become. And finally, my son, I ask that you never abandon this city to fate. We have lived through dark days, and no doubt there are more to come. But it is the good and great men who stand up for Gotham when others turn and run. In death, I will love you forever. Your father, Thomas.